You mentioned a couple of times in your key points the absence of a clear leader when it comes to working on implementing the SDGs. Did you recommend in the audit a specific government department or agency to coordinate that work? The question is being asked because most departments have a specific focus, either economic, social, or environmental, rather than the broad focus that you seem to be supporting.
So it's a fabulous question. I do not believe that it would be up to us to make that kind of machinery of government recommendation. That's really up to the government to make that decision. What we can tell you is that in other countries, the leaders for sustainable development goals are often found in what you would call a more central agency. And Germany is a great example. It comes straight from the Chancellor's office. So there are other ways of doing it. Our concern was that there were 5 departments, 5 very different departments and agencies that were the leader, and we don't understand how 5 can be the leader. But maybe Kim wants to add something.
I would just add that we actually did make a recommendation that a clear lead be identified. We didn't say a leader, we didn't specify one, but we did based on some of the work that Julie explained where this has been done in other countries, we did recommend that a lead be identified. The other thing I would say is that our audit includes what we would call a subsequent event. So we made some recommendations in our audit, and the departments responded to and agreed with our recommendations. But what they didn't do is put timelines with our recommendations. So they didn't tell us when they were going to do what by. However, Budget 2018 did identify some funds for a sustainable development unit that would seek to do some of the things that we've identified in our audit. So that's there. We don't know exactly where that will be or what that will look like, but as of Budget 2018 anyway, at the end of March, there was some hope that there will be some leadership identified there.
Circling back to salmon farming, one of our listeners is asking whether you considered Fisheries and Oceans' other responsibilities beyond salmon farming. Are they properly monitoring other fishing activities, and particularly the seal hunt?
So quick answer is no, we didn't. We just looked at salmon farming. However, Sharon did do previously another audit on the integrated fish management plans and fisheries management. So you want to say a few words about what we found there?
Yeah, so that was a 2016 audit, October 2016, on sustainable fisheries management. And it looked at the planning that was in place or not in place for 154 stocks of fish, including seals. Yeah. And we did have findings there, and we welcome viewers to have a look at that audit as well.
And the other thing I can say is that although Sharon is responsible for Fisheries and Oceans Canada, Kim is actually doing an audit on marine mammals. And we can't tell you too much about it except that we are doing it, and it will be tabled
in the fall.
This fall. So we haven't looked at the seal hunt, but we are looking at the issue of marine mammals and risks to the marine mammals, including commercial fishing and transportation.
Yep. Fishing and shipping, risks mostly.
Yep. So stay tuned. There'll be another webinar.
Have another question here on the SDGs. A healthy economy, healthy society, and achievement of SDGs would do well with a progressive and sustainable agriculture and food sector. Given sustainable farm and food initiatives already underway within Canada, why isn't Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada included in the responsible departments to assist in achieving the SDGs?
Great question, and that is a question for the Government of Canada to decide. They decided that these 5 departments, so it's Aboriginal and Northern Affairs, Employment and Social Development, Environment Canada, Status of Women, and I'm missing one.
Global Affairs Canada.
Global Affairs Canada. So it's the Privy Council Office of Canada that decided that those 5 departments would be the leaders. We do make a recommendation, I believe, that they need to figure out how they're going to work with all the other departments, because it's not just agriculture that wasn't in those 5. What about Health Canada? What about transport, infrastructure? So that's a great question, but it's hard for us to answer. anything else?
Yeah, I'd like to take the opportunity actually to tell you about an environmental petition that was submitted by the British Columbia International Council for Cooperation. That was environmental petitions is a process whereby any Canadian can write a letter to the Auditor General of Canada and to Julie, and they are entitled to a response from the responsible federal minister within 120 days. So BCCIC wrote us a petition and they asked 10 questions, very good questions, very important questions, in fact questions that we were asking in our audit as well, such as who is responsible within the federal government, how are subnational governments going to be included or consulted, how is engagement and consultation going to be handled more generally. So they asked some good questions, and these questions went out to 17 responsible ministers. So all of those responses are on our website, which you can find on our petitions website and the Office of the Auditor General. And all departments responded. 2 departments responded saying that the Sustainable Development Goals were not within their purview. One of those was Finance Canada, and the other one was Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada. So there are Sustainable Development Goals that relate to both of those areas, but obviously those departments do not feel that the goals are within their purview at this time.
And that's a little bit what we mean by we don't see a whole of government approach, right? We don't see a plan. I haven't seen where the Government of Canada has taken each SDG, each Sustainable Development Goal, and the indicators, the 169 objectives, and said, okay, where is Canada good? Where are we good?
Yeah.
Those ones maybe we don't need to worry about, but where are we not good? Or where are some of our subpopulations not good? Because the concept of the Sustainable Development Goals is to leave no one behind. And though the OECD, some people have done research on how Canada fits on the SDGs, and we look like we turn out pretty good. We're a developed country, but subpopulations of Canada probably don't do great. So I have yet to see the Government of Canada take each SDG and say, where do we have low risks, where do we have high risks, and what are we going to do about it? And then show me, as the Commissioner, that you've done this analysis and that you come out after having done that analysis with the top risks for Canada, and here's what we're going to do about it. That's what I'm expecting to see from the government in terms of a whole of government approach that would include many more departments than just the 5 leads and different levels of government and Canadians.
Yeah, and I would just add that at this time, civil society is really leading on this. In fact, the Brookings Institute just released a report very recently where they identified the Sustainable Development Goals where Canada was doing well in, and the ones where they were falling behind, and the ones where breakthroughs were needed in order to move these forward. And that's an excellent report as well, worth a read.